Reese, the mic is right below your mouth or your nose. You're breathing on it or something. Very nice. That's good. Okay, here we go. It's that time again for EQ Nexus Presents Into the Portal, an EverQuest Next podcast. Hello, everybody!
Hello.
We are back.
Extremely loud.
It is very loud?
You were.
Well, you were. You just
I'm always loud. Hold on. Let me turn it down a little bit.
No, you don't have to turn it down. Just don't shout like that again without warning us. You're trying to compete with Mr.
Other guy.
Neurotoxin over there.
Why are you always yelling at us?
Because that's the way I am. I'm a loud mouth.
Hey, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, refresh it there, Mika. Well, so how you guys doing? Nothing really to talk about this week, really.
No,
Nothing at all.
Not like anything's happened.
No, nothing's happening.
Like every other week.
Yeah, like every other. I mean, what are we supposed to do? We have nothing vapid to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh, we have ramen. Jundane's ramen cooking show.
Nobody was on any live shows. There weren't any events. Nothing's gone live. Nothing, censoring people from saying things without repercussion has been removed. None of that stuff. This is just same old, same old.
What is that? What are you talking about? All right, everybody. We have something I have to mention. We have slow chat on in the chat tonight. We're expecting at least 8,000 to 5,000 or 6,000 to 2,000 people at some point during the next couple of minutes.
Because we've got 53,000 right now.
Right, and so because of that, we had to put chat into slow mode. So I apologize that there's no slow mode throttle. It's basically either on or off, and while it's on, you have to wait 3 minutes. So temper yourself with your questions. Build them up in a slow, progressive, and then pop them like a pimple out onto the thing. Just spread it.
It's like taking a ladle full of milk and slowly pouring it into the eggs as you...
Yes. And the custard, yes.
Nice. Custard.
Custard. All right, so I guess we have our first topic to talk about tonight, which is EQN Landmark Alpha.
Woo.
Is that a thing?
Woo!
That's a thing.
It is a thing. All of us here but one are playing the EverQuest Next Landmark Alpha.
Let's play a game. Everyone guess who it is.
It's that chat bastard right there, isn't it?
Right, the chat bastard in the middle. They are not playing. Now, it happens to be the guy right here, and there's a reason for it, because he used to do this as a job, and the thought of him having to pay for the game to play it bothers you, right?
No, not paying for the game. Okay, perhaps I should clarify this.
Yes, please clarify.
Because everybody's like, you're being an elitist prick. No, I'm not.
No, he's not being elitist. No, it's nothing to do with elitist at all.
I worked QA for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point where I can't just play a game anymore. I'm constantly looking for errors.
Right.
I mean, even games that I want to play
right.
that have been released for years, I go through them like, oh, there's a tearing right there. Oh, there's a Z buffer. Oh, man. Oh, my God, look at those textures. It's completely clipping right there. Oh, God, I can't just play a game anymore. And so... while I would absolutely love, because I mean, it's not a question of not just not being able to afford it, because we voice actors don't make a whole bunch of money at the very beginning. Because I've had plenty of people saying, "Hey, I'll give you a thing." It's like, no, I don't. This is going to sound very mercenary of me, but I don't test for free.
It's okay.
I just
Right.
I am so eager to play the thing when it's released. I mean, oh my God, especially watching everybody, because I have been watching everybody, and unfortunately going, oh, he missed that tree's not, oh, no, stop it. Stop it.
Mr. Felgon says he was a QA tester for years and he's still playing.
He has a job.
He has a job. Oh, yeah.
I can understand where Trendane's coming from, because I've also had some experience in QA. But it's a little different for me because I've also had experience on the development side and really seeing the implementation of features and how it all works. There's latency with the process, and for me, I can take the fact that there's constant bugs everywhere with a grain of salt because I know they're potentially one or two lines of code away from being perfect, or one or two objects or modules away from being exactly what it needs to be, or just a few errors here and there can be cleaned up, and it'll clean up a whole bunch of stuff. So I understand that while there's a whole lot of bugs right now, I can take it all with a grain of salt, knowing that the team already knows about a lot of them, and a lot of them are already things that they're probably trying to fix, or the result of something that hasn't been fully implemented yet.
Tobran, who said eat Jaffa Cake?
No one.
You're just so addicted to them.
Okay.
You have no free will. No.
Yeah. Freedom. Yeah. Going on Mel Gibson in this. Deal with it.
Deal with it, bitch. That's what he's saying to me right now.
The therapy's kicking in. And
okay. So we are all playing, except Trendane, EverQuest Next Alpha, EverQuest Next Landmark Alpha. What are your initial impressions, guys? Keep it under 10 minutes. Just tell us what you think.
I'll just go ahead and start eating now then.
Yeah, you eat your ramen noodles.
I think for me, I think it's sorry, Reese,
go ahead, Love.
No, go ahead. You already started.
I think for me, it's great, isn't it? Like when we first came in, like running around, the game looks great. I'm especially impressed with things like the animation and the lighting. I think they've really nailed. Obviously, it is very alpha, and it's interesting. The more I kind of look at it, I've been trying not to play too much to sort of burn out on it too early, but the gaps and the holes and the places where there's space for them to implement features are kind of the areas at the moment that I'm most interested in a way. We can go out and like gather and build and do all that cool stuff, but I'm kind of just running around and having a good time, and at the same time just trying to work out how all the different bits are going to kind of coalesce and come together, because that's the type of thing I like to think about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been having a grand old time. I haven't really done all that much, to be honest.
I've done a lot.
Been thinking about.
I've been playing like 8 hours a day, so I've got a lot of stuff done. What do you think, Mr. Legendary?
So I've had a lot of time to play it, and I've actually single-handedly gotten almost all the way through to the top tier of materials with crafting already. Stations.
Yeah.
What was that?
You're level 90 already.
Yeah, basically level 90. In fact, I tweeted out my pick because everyone was sharing their picks, and it's just got insane stats. It blows everybody else's legendary picks out of the water, and has 13 discovery.
So you're causing a lot of pick envy out there.
I am causing a whole lot of pick envy, and it's going to take them actually wiping our characters for that to get resolved.
Take that out of your cold, dead hands.
Yep. And honestly, I really don't care, because this was just my first time. This isn't even the top tier material. This isn't the Mithrium. This is just the Indigo pick.
I got an Indigo pick too, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's brutally awesome. I can just cleave right through the earth and stone and everything and collect whatever I need to. Coal, I already had over 300 coal, so I could make 10 sticks of dynamite. I still haven't tried it yet.
Oh, it's fun.
Probably live stream out when I do.
It's probably one of the best visceral explosions I've seen in a game. Yeah, I just love it. You throw it down and it goes in like a circle. Now here's the funny part. I did it on some what's the pinkish stone?
The Amaranthian thing, or whatever.
So I threw it down on the Amaranthian, and you're not supposed to make penises in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It blew away a complete circle, and what was sticking up out of the ground? A tall stalk of Amaranthian. I was like, well, that couldn't have happened any better.
Well,
I was like,
even like the I was thinking about the speed of the picks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, when you think about when they introduce like the tiers of the world, because remember it goes down a mile, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge difference. So when you're going for those like top tier materials, you're gonna need a fast pick to be able to get down and back up again in any reasonable amount of time.
There's a device called a pulverizer that they've talked about in the tooltips. It's basically, it cleaves straight through earth and stone and everything, pretty much I imagine like a giant, earth drilling machine. It doesn't destroy materials, so if you go through a vein, it's not going to destroy those materials. It'll just heal back as it was. But it doesn't allow the collection of materials either. It's specifically just for boring through the planet and getting as far down as you need to in order to access the next tier of materials.
Now, I want to clarify this, and this is sort of speculation because we don't have any way to really clarify this yet. But the tiers are actually tiers. Like, they're going to be the multiple levels. They're going to have the top tier, the middle tier, and the bottom tier. And then that's where all of these gems are going to be located. They're not all going to be spread on the surface forever, right? Is that the right? I'm thinking?
Yeah. I mean, going back to some of the original drawings, I believe they showed the first version of this diagram all cleaned up with the SOE Live presentation. So there's the top tier, and then there's the next tier below that, and some of the stuff you might even have to fight creatures in order to get the materials from. And then below that's the third tier. And there's not only this third tier, but then there's also the floating island third tier, which I would imagine is where the wood that's beyond burled wood and striped wood would be contained.
Hey, Tobran, I never got a chance to ask you, what'd you think? What's your thoughts real quick?
Right, everyone else is so far ahead of me, so I'm just stuck behind being a complete noob. I've put, 4 hours into the game so far? I just really haven't had a chance.
It's
so
okay.
I haven't had a claim, I haven't been able to get like a legendary pick. All I've been doing is running around looking at other people's stuff. And from what I've seen so far, it's amazing. You've got upside down pyramids, upside down crafting stations, like hidden mazes, underground tunnels. You've got like everything. Like I was on earlier today, and I saw some guy built a dragon head, and you go in through the dragon, and it goes down underground cave.
I saw that one. It's great, right?
So amazing. It was so cool. And
this is a really cool thing.
I saw a ruined castle today.
Me too.
I thought it was part of the game. Like I forget what server, and I was just running along, and I saw it like just on the edge of my screen, and like the way it sat on the hillside, and it was just all ruined and distressed and everything. I thought, holy crap, are they spawning buildings? And then, it was only when I got a proper look at it, I was like, oh, so it's someone's claim.
That's the best part that they did since they fixed the whole claim problem by adding all the other islands and things, is that it opened it up to where now people could get claims, and you're seeing some of the most amazing stuff out there. There's some fun stuff that's kind of silly, but there's really some stuff you're like, holy crap, that could be in a game right now, the way it sits. And it's still up in the open.
This is why it's another thing that is going to be implemented but isn't yet, and I've been thinking about how it's going to work. But things like group building, guild building. If you think when the tiers are implemented underground, and it's not just run to the ore and mine the ore, and it's going to it's going to increase the rarity of certain materials massively, I think. And for groups of people to then be able to get together and like build really big projects, I think we could see some amazing stuff. I mean, it's what we were hoping for, wasn't it? We've talked about it so much on this show.
That's the auspicious part of tonight. That's one of the biggest parts of tonight. Is up to this point, all of us have sat here and just talked completely out of our butts, right? We have had no basis in fact. Everything has just been. Hey, what do you think this is going to do? Conjecture, hearsay, theory crafting, whatever. And we're always like, oh, we could try this or try that, but we've never actually had our hands on the real product that we could talk about and discuss. So, yeah, it's pretty epic. All right, are we ready to move on? Do you have guys we can come back to talk more about Alpha in a little bit, but I wanted to get to our next segment of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move along.
All right, so let's get on to our next. What's that? Do we have to? All right, so I want everybody to watch the chat right now, okay? Check this out. I'm now my own I'm now a partner with Twitch, so I get to have my own emoticons, and check out my new emoticon that I have. Is that epic? That is epic.
Did you not get it to move?
It doesn't move. It's a PNG, so I couldn't do a GIF. But that is epic. All right, so now we're going on to our next segment.
It's now time for Ask Above.
Isn't that cute? All right, everybody, we have a special guest on our show tonight. It would happen to be Mr. Oh, wait, there's a screen region right in front. Oh, I turn that off. Hold on. I see. There's too many of these buttons. Hey, you guys are saying we're going to have a screwed up show tonight, but we can't do that.
It's alpha. It's fine.
Excuses.
Yes. So, hello. Welcome to the show, Mr. Omeed Dariani.
Hello.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Welcome, sir.
Pretty good.
Guys.
Yes, I must tweet this now. Tweet it.
Yes, let me tweet this also.
Okay.
Tweet it.
So I'll take a moment and tweet.
Take a moment and just...
So 21st century.
Yeah.
Sitting around having a chat and everyone's on their Twitter.
Why do you do this to me? I was sitting here eating and you invite a guest and what?
Sorry, Chunday. Didn't mean to make you, throw up or anything.
I wasn't throwing up. I mean, I was just surprised. That's all.
All right.
Thought we were gonna have a nice vapid show. And
No, it's not vapid anymore because now we actually have somebody on.
Here.
Yeah, we actually have somebody on that knows what they're talking about at least, and so the
God.
vapidity has to go out the window. And I don't know how we can handle ourselves with lack of vapidity.
After this, what the hell's gonna happen after
Someone
this?
tell Reddit. Someone tell Reddit.
Yeah, you go tell Reddit, Locke. You and your buddies over at Reddit.
Buddies.
Am I going to get a royalty every time that emoticon is used?
Yes, absolutely. It's half of a Dogecoin.
Oh, sweet. That's
So that's a 0.000072 cents.
many
No.
coins.
Many coins.
0.0000072 bitcoins.
Bitcoins. Oh, yes. So, all right. So, Mr. Omeed, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you got started with SOE?
Oh, okay, sure. So with SOE, one of my very good friends who was on the live stream on Friday, Adam Key, who was talking about the year of EverQuest, he was already working on the EverQuest franchise. And so when they were launching EverQuest Next, or getting ready to ramp up for that, he reached out to me and said, hey, they're looking for a senior person for the team. This project is really cool. I think you would like it. And I was living in Boston at the time. I was like, well, really kind of like to not be stuck in the winter that all of y'all are currently stuck in.
Through, yeah.
So I came in and talked to folks about it, and they wouldn't tell me anything about the project. Obviously, I'd played EverQuest for a long time, but they wouldn't tell me anything about it. And what really sold me was the last person I talked to was Dave Georgeson. And he really got excited when we were chatting and was like, I can't tell you anything about it, but you're going to want to be here. And if you've met Dave, he has literally the worst poker face I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And he was just so excited, and you could see, in his face that he knew he had something good. And that was what really sold it for me. So I signed on, moved out here to work on it. And, 2 weeks after I started was the first time I got the full pitch, and my jaw was on the floor. I was so much happier than I thought I would have been.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And not just because you weren't stuck in Boston when it turned into the North Pole.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Shoveling snow is for the dogs.
That's why I have a snow blower. I have powered shoveler.
That is a great idea.
All right, everybody, real quick in chat. You can ask Omeed questions. Just please put them in brackets, and you can put a little Omeed after the bracket. That way, we'll know it's for him. Go ahead and ask away whatever you would like. You'd like to ask. So, what would you like to tell us a little bit about the launch so far?
So, hopefully you guys have been paying attention. It's been going really well. Obviously we're having, a fair amount of difficulty, just different downtimes and data loss. It's alpha.
Yeah.
So, all stuff that we were expecting to happen, but it's been a lot smoother than, I think, for most of the members of the team than other alphas that we've worked on, where you just have massive amounts of downtime, things are all screwed up. What's really been awesome for us is just seeing how quickly the players have become better at building than we ever were, except for Eric. Eric's still pretty good. But, just the stuff that's getting built. Like, there was an article on, was it Slash Gear today, that's just, hey, the top 10 cool things that we've seen in Landmark so far. And that's, just 6 days into this being done. Just the level of feedback we're getting, the level of communication, across the forums, on Reddit, on Twitter, on Twitch, everywhere that we go. it's just really, really positive for us, and we've been so happy to see, like, number one, the level of support that we're getting, but number two, really, that folks understand what it means when we say it's alpha. Like, when we say, hey, sorry, the server's going to be down, and, you know, we're working on it, and we don't really know when it's going to come back up yet, and everyone's like, that's cool, take your time, like, let's just get it fixed. Like, that feels so good for us, because, you know, those guys, and, you know, I have, like, the easiest job in the world right now on this team. Those guys, Steve Klug especially, the technical director, have been pulling, like, insane hours, you know, making this stuff work. And so when we get that feedback of, yeah, it's cool, you know, we're here, we're waiting, we're signed up, we're happy, that makes us feel so good. Not because we work less, but because, you know, you guys understand we don't feel like, you know, the people are pounding on the door trying to kill us.
Everybody's been really positive. I was on the forums, and I was noticing there was a general lack of bitching and complaining, which is so strange. I mean, there's some over there, but there's not that much. And I kind of came to the realization, and I saw this in a later thread too, that because there's just so few people there complaining, that means either they just hate the game and they're just not even bothering with it, or they're playing it. And if they're playing it, that means there's something good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the reasons, too, that, you know, we only had the Explorer and the Trailblazer pack give you alpha access, because we wanted to keep the group of people relatively small. And, you know, anyone who's willing to, you know, step up and pay $60 or more to help us, you know, like, design this game is going to be really engaged. They're going to be really passionate. You know, they want to like the game. And so we know that they're going to spend the time actually, like, being constructive, you know. Like, we're seeing very little in the way of, like, I hate you, you guys suck, like, go to hell kind of stuff, which is so gratifying because, you know, we love this game, and it's so nice to see that everyone else seems to as well.
Even those of us, you know, not just me, and I mean, even though I didn't really have a whole lot of room to complain about the teasing, but I mean, you know, folks from other podcasts as well, I know, we're talking about the teasing is unbearable. It's going kind of over the top. Ever since it came out, everything has stopped.
Yes.
You know, it's
production
like,
in the United States.
Like, you know, and Omeed, what you mentioned about, you know, when you have to shut the servers down and you know, you were expecting all these things to go wrong. The first thing that came into mind was when I was working at EA, and, you know, the whole SimCity thing came crashing down for 2 weeks, you know, and I mean, that was a finished game, you know, and this has gone so much smoother. Knock on wood. Yeah. And I've been absolutely floored with what you guys have been, I mean, by comparison, able to accomplish. I mean, you guys have what 3-4 servers up? I think.
Yeah, we have 3 up right now. We're working on getting a whole, I don't want to say metric ass load more, but
you just did.
A lot of servers are in the pipeline. You know, the European server, you've seen, you know, John and Dave tweeting. They're trying to get it up. It's, you know, still not quite up, but that'll be our 4th server. But we ordered a bunch more hardware, and Dave just recorded a producer's letter that I don't think we have it ready for today, so it'll probably be out on Monday, kind of talking about this as well. But, you know, it has blown our minds too. You know, I'm very proud of the team, you know, and Dave Georgeson has done a tremendous job, and John, assembling, like, this talented team. And I always knew it was going to go well, but I don't think anyone knew it was going to go this well. So we feel so good about it. Just the level of stability, you know, the level of problems that we're having. You know, like, it's alpha. We're going to have problems. We've got lots of stuff that needs fixed, lots of stuff that needs implemented. But just the fact that we've had so much stability and so much smoothness for where we are, I got nothing but the best to say for this team, and it's really made us all proud.
And I think it's the level of transparency that you guys have with us that also fosters so much of the support that, you know, the community gives to you guys, which, you know, you would not see from. Sorry, almost. Ooh, that was close. Almost blew the rating of this show out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, that transparency, that comes straight from the top. Like, John actually every day is pushing on us for more transparency, believe it or not. You know, he, like, really, really is passionate about this idea of sharing things as we go. You know, I mean, he yesterday sent out a poll based on something that we're having an email thread about. Like, hey, how would you guys feel about if we gave away some Alpha Buddy keys? And that's just something that we're chatting about internally. Like, is that something we should do? Is it not? Like, how would it even work? At the very beginning of a conversation, So that's like way more transparent than anywhere I've ever worked before. And so this idea, which we've taken, all the way back in, I think, June, when we first launched the very first EverQuestNext.com site, this idea of like, hey, here's Dave, here's Terry, here's Steve, here's Jeff, here's Rosie. Like, talk directly to them, let them know exactly what you're thinking. Ever since then, we've been trying to be that level of transparency. And I think because we've been doing it for so long and we have, really legitimately tried to be as transparent as we can, it's paying off. People believe us. Like, people want to hear what we're saying and are patient when we don't have everything as organized or have our act completely together, because they know that we're being as transparent as we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I've played a lot of games.
A question.
What's that?
Sorry.
I was going to say, I played a lot of games, and I played a lot of games through alpha and beta, and I've never been on one that was as polished as this one. I just can't. I'm streaming it 3 to 4 hours every single day, and I'm hardly having any glitches. The only thing is when I go through the teleporter, but other than that, I can play the entire time in non-stop play, whereas normally most alphas I would have crashed 5-6 times, at least in the first hour.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why we lifted the NDA, honestly, is that we were feeling that the level of stability, obviously right when we lifted it, we weren't quite stable yet, but we were feeling that the level of stability was going to be there, because I think the worst thing, and when we pay very close attention to where we are on the, on Twitch's page, like, are we on the front page kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that just kills those streams is when you're just crashing all the time, or when the servers are going down unpredictably. Mm-hmm. And so, since we've been able to be stable, we've been able to support Twitch, and, for all the streamers, including you guys, and I know there's a couple out in the audience, we're doing programs to try to support the Twitch streamers. So if you have questions about that, definitely get in touch with me on Twitter, and we can help you out.
Shadowplay, that's what I'm looking forward to. It's
going to be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
What do you got? What's up, Trendane?
Locke had a question.
Oh.
I did have a question. We were talking about everyone being very pleased and everything being very transparent, and this is probably going to be a no-comment question, but as far as I know, you're intending to have a combat system implemented by closed beta. That seems to be the plan. So, do you think, Mr. Dariani, that people will be as pleased with the combat? Because we've heard so much about building, and we've seen so much of the building leading up to it. I was wondering if you could tell us anything about when combat might be being talked about.
Well, I actually am not 100% sure of when combat exists in the timeline, and the main reason is because Dave came into the office, yesterday morning. First he said, I don't know what day it is, which is why he was late to the meeting. But then after that saying, I think we may want to completely move around where combat is in the schedule. And so that debate is ongoing. So it could be coming sooner or later based on that. I actually just haven't had time to chat with them today to see where they landed on it. But it is coming for sure. And we sat and we were talking to a journalist yesterday about it with Jeff Butler and with Darren, and listening to them talk about the combat and what's special about it, and how interesting it's going to be, really blew my mind. And I tweeted something about doing a spit take, and that was something that Darren said that I had no idea was going to be in combat. That's really a little cool tidbit that I can't share yet. But the thing that blows my mind about the combat is just thinking about how destructibility works, and then thinking about how people, like, for example, in EverQuest 2, we have a housing system, right? People will build like maze houses or trap houses or things like that, experiences that you can go do. Now imagine how that's going to work when the whole game is destructible, when your plot is completely about something like that. You're building a battleground, or you're building ramparts, you're building destructible pieces of a world to fight in, and then saying, hey, here's my land, here's my castle, I'm defending it, come knock it down. And the ability for us to just have like a reset, so once your castle gets knocked down, you can reset it and play this battleground again. I think that really just changes how we view combat in games and what we'll be able to do. and I'm so excited for that.
Absolutely. We have a ton of questions coming in. Omeed, would you like to look through some of them? I'm going to show some people might not have seen the game yet, so I'm going to show a short clip of what the game looks like. And if Omeed, you want to, what's the matter, Trendane?
Just trying to figure out who the heck wouldn't have seen the game yet. I mean, I've been watching it.
Well,
nobody has any excuse.
I figured it would give you a minute to finish your noodles, and then
it's going to take me half an hour to finish this.
And then Omeed could look at some of the questions and pick through it.
Yeah, sorry, I've been trying to keep an eye on them.
They're flying right by.
My eye, but I haven't been doing a good job because I've been yelling and doing this.
No, it's okay. They're flying right by. So we can have. We'll just get a real quick second, and you can watch some of the gameplay, and we'll be right back. But you can talk in the background.
Oh, good.
So this is me running through the desert, looking for some place to move.
So let's see. Oh, well, the first question I found, will I do an O nod? Obviously,
Okay.
I can't while this is...
I'll go right back. Hold on. We're back.
I will do an O nod.
O nod takes precedence.
O nod definitely takes precedence.
Wait, are we back on? So
Yeah, we're back. Sorry.
Okay.
That's the thing that when a lot of people try to emulate it, they can't get it because they don't get the shoulders in with it because there's like an entire upper torso bounce to it. It's very subtle, but it's there.
Oh, look, everyone is doing it now. Yeah. So one thing
Literally
that...
the first thing I did in the game. I barely even looked at the screen. I was like, where's my slide?
But you got to spin your camera around so you can look at your face because it looks awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing that happened that I was just very pleased with at the celebration event was Mark Tuttle, our director of e-commerce, was up, announcing and like introducing John and Dave, and kind of warming up the crowd. And we had food trucks, that came to provide lunch for people. And he turned around to ask us if it was the one that sold tater tots because it's very popular here. This tater tot food truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's mind-blowingly popular. And our PR director said, no, we've got Chubbies. And
Trendane is about ready to spit take himself.
which is another one of the food trucks.
Yeah.
And so then Mark turns back around to the crowd and says over the mic, we've got Chubbies. And I immediately nodded.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty great. All right. What else do we have? I'm sorry.
That's okay. While you're talking, I used to have a food truck. I sold it a couple years ago, but it was called Sandwich. So that's what I made with sandwiches.
You got your fingers in a lot of pies, Geekdomo.
I do. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
A lot of irons in the fire, wheels within wheels.
Exactly. I got spinners, yo.
Let's see. Where is the statue at?
We haven't built it yet.
Well-phrased question. But yeah, I believe that you guys were supposed to build the statues.
We're working on it. If you can
So-
give us 1 million gold bars, I will be able to build the statue. But until that happens,
I actually been thinking about this, and I think that
We need
the correct statue is built of burled wood.
that would even be more rare than the gold bars.
It's okay, guys. I
We
earned
need-
my wit. Okay.
We
don't
need
to chop it.
liquids. We need liquids because we need the lava to flow out of the eyes like tears.
I mean,
So we can't do it.
the claims
Can't do
we'd
it,
also
so
need a
we
lot
can't.
more. We'd need like 3 by 3 by like 10 in the sky. So if you're gonna let us have 90 claims, we will totally do it. But unfortunately, we've been told 1 per person right now, no vertical stacking.
Yeah,
well,
right
give it
now.
time. Give it time.
We're working on it. You can build parts of the statue, right?
Just the important parts.
Sure.
Like your
Yeah.
head.
Shoulder.
And the
I've almost
shoulder.
got your shoulder
If
ready.
I'm correct, someone has already built
Yeah.
your
Everybody
face.
build a different part of the statue, and then we can combine them all later.
I
That'll
don't
be
know if it
even.
would work this
That's true. We do
Omeed
have a face
Voltron.
already.
Okay, here's a question. Will Dave require you to daily tweet your lunches? If so, how much rye wheat factor into your future?
Which kind of rye? Drinkable or edible?
Yeah, I don't. I assume that's drinkable. If Dave requires me to tweet my lunches, that's going to get really weird, real fast. Like Trendane eating the noodles weird.
Just like throw it back in his face and just eat sketchy Thai for until he stops.
Happy Hansel claimed the navel, so
There you go. We're practically halfway there.
We're halfway there. We get the belly button out of the way.
Oh. Halfway where? No.
No.
And also, so for Eric and Emily and everyone who's in the chat, if you guys want to answer some of these questions in the chat, please feel free to.
I have a question though. Dexella is posting codes. Is she posting literally landmark codes?
I assume so.
She's posting she's posting Trailblazer pack codes right now.
I think so.
Holy crap!
Grab
them up, everybody.
Could it be?
I did give her.
Could it be that now Dexella has gone power mad?
She is. She's just giving away the game. Here's a $100 game. Here's $100 for you.
I'm not kidding. If I were to rotate my monitor to the right, I could show you an Excel spreadsheet that has thousands of those codes in it.
Nice.
I ordered them all like way, way, way long ago, just so when we needed to give some out, we could. But it is. Wow. I can't remember I calculated the actual value of it if we sold all of them, and it was just absurd. So
$3 million.
Do you have any Prime Grappler codes around? I have mine. I love it, but I'd love to have some more out there for some other folks to be able to enjoy and show in everyone's faces, because those things are awesome.
I haven't seen one yet.
The Prime Grappler?
I didn't.
The grappler makes you Spider-Man.
I didn't realize how cool they were. I made one the other day. I was like, this is
They're
amazing.
so cool. You're so Spider-Man at that point.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Penapod says we're only allowed to chat every 2 minutes, so we can't say a lot. Well, right now we have almost 400 people watching the show, and if we turn the slow mode off, it would explode the chat. So we're trying to keep it. I'm sorry, Don.
Turn it off, Domo.
I do it.
See, if I made
let the people
Eric
speak.
It's
all about open communication.
If I made Eric and Pentapod and Dexella moderators, then they could do that. But for some reason, I don't have the ability to turn them on to be moderators. All I can do is ban them, which I'm okay with doing that. But I did that to Omeed that one week, and I didn't hear the end of it for a while.
Yeah, that was really sweet. I really appreciated that. I got a lot of work done that day.
Yeah.
You can't talk anymore, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah, so I think Colette has some of the grappler codes, and she may or may not be posting them fairly soon.
All right, you guys keep on the ball. Keep watching the chat.
But yeah, we ordered up a few more of those too so that we can give them out, because we know that not everyone got one. We had a little bit of a snafu with that during the live stream. Mm-hmm. We thought that the server was switched on, and it just wasn't. So all those codes were not being redeemed during the live stream, which was slightly awkward. So we'll be giving them out because they are really freaking cool.
All right, any more questions you want to go answer here? Or do you want me to ask them to you, or you just want to...
I want somebody... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want somebody who gets that grappler to create a character in game whose name is Spoderman.
Okay.
And, just goes and he just goes and recreates Spoderman comic strips with characters from...
Spoderman?
Yeah, Spoderman. Yeah.
Not Spider-Man?
No.
Because you really look like Spider-Man when you're doing it. You shoot him out, and you grab the side of the mountain. All right, so
no,
it's
Spoderman.
It's Spoderman. Okay, sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
So, let's see. Let me ask you guys a question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm all for wild speculation. We do this every week. We're okay with this.
Yay, the Vapid returns.
We can do Vapid.
Yes.
So, you've seen what we've been doing so far, and hopefully everyone thinks it's pretty good. What do we need to be doing better?
It's hard to say right now because it's only been 1 week. So, what you've been doing better. Right now, the big thing is not enough space for claims, so you've made more space. The Euro servers, you spun up a lot more islands and everything. So that part has just been, on the aggressive to take care of. The voxels disappearing and prop issues, those are also major, issues that are preventing a lot of people from really being able to play and enjoy and test the product. So, really attacking those sorts of things as well. That's been a really good priority to have so far. So far, I've got no complaints about what you guys have been doing and focusing your time on. And in this first week, I wouldn't do anything but try to fix stuff and give everybody enough room to work with. Going forward, the one thing I would want is maybe the inclusion of the next tier of materials. I don't know if they're ready or not yet, but I'm ready for them. I'm ready to go through and finish the rest of it and help fill out the rest of the crafting system stuff.
I have a suggestion. Is there a way to report the bugs a little easier? Like today, I found an exploit, and I went on the forums and I was like, "Hey, everybody, I found this exploit." I told everybody about it, and they all said, "No, it's not an exploit. Forget it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is. I can mine or I can chop wood 2 times as fast as everybody else." And so I was just wondering, is there like some kind of like direct line that people can use, not just myself, but anybody could use that could get these sort of heavy duty bugs?
Well, there should be a place on the forum for that, right? I would think that would be the best way to do it. I mean, of course, another thing that works, if you have something that is like super, super broken, tweet it to me, tweet it to Colette, tweet it to Landmark Channel, tweet it to Dave or Terry. Like, we take a look at our Twitter feeds constantly, so we're happy to look at stuff there. But the best thing is to post it on the forums, because that way it's all centralized.
Oh yeah, so we do have a suggestion from the audience. Concentrate on optimization so more people can play, but optimization is a bit off. But this is early alpha, guys, so we know that, right? Yeah, and it's definitely something like we're learning things about how servers work for this kind of game that are just completely different than what we were expecting. So things are getting more efficient fairly quickly, just because we're seeing things that we weren't expecting, or Colette says the absolute best way to report a bug is /bug inside the game. So if you just That's
type
too obvious.
Just put it in there, whatever, hate-filled rant about it is, it'll be very helpful.
Okay.
And get to the right place really quickly. Thanks, Colette. So another thing that we're actually going to do, I think we're going to get this up on Tuesday, is we're going to update the website so that player creations appear on our site. So we're going to have a complete section for all the coolest stuff that we're seeing. Like we posted on the forums, there's a thread right now of, post up your creation, post up your screenshots of what you're doing. We're going to take a bunch of those and put them on our site. And honestly, featuring player creations is going to be a big part of our content and a big, like we've been taking screenshots internally, but that's nothing compared to the screenshots you guys are taking of the cool stuff you're like that chessboard that Dave tweeted today. Oh my God, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Did you see the Pac-Man board?
I did, but I can't talk about that.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Space Invaders.
Speaking of screenshots of claims, is there any plans for maybe some sort of spectator mode for the servers, where it was like a non-play mode, but you could get like flying angles from outside of claims, or maybe like long panning shots of claims? Any plans?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about it. It's one of those things, like there's a lot of desire for things that would be really valuable for streaming and for spectators. A lot of that is, just in the priority list, where does it come? Obviously, it's going to come after getting in the features for the game and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, we're putting a lot of emphasis on how do we make this game more interesting to watch on a stream, because with a lot of building games, right, like you can sit there and watch it, but there's not always cool stuff happening, so we want to try to find ways to make it more interesting to stream. Another great thing, if you have suggestions, please send those directly to me, because we're spending a lot of focus on that.
Oh, great. Well, I'll just send you a big old email of suggestions rather than spending the next half hour asking about it. That saves a lot of time. All right.
I think the only thing...
That's something...
There you go.
Sorry, Tobran.
No, you go.
We're so bloody British.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's the transparency's been brilliant. I feel like we're being told what's going on in a fantastic way, like better than anything I've seen before. But sometimes the dialogue that's going in the other direction, it feels like a lot of time people are just sort of throwing ideas into the void on the forums and things. Occasionally, obviously you can't tackle every single one on the forums, that'd be ridiculous. But I was thinking maybe a more consolidated system of suggestions. Like I see the same kind of things coming up over and over and over again, and you have the FAQ, maybe like a separate one where the suggestion is maybe the drop rate of burled wood is a bit low, so people don't feel like they need to.
Said in chat.
Feel the need to plug everything up with that. And if we have a kind of consolidated suggestion system, that I think that could be quite valuable, because it's a time saving thing, and I think it'd probably help you give feedback on the suggestions as well. Kind of like, this is totally the wrong direction. This isn't, this is not something that we want in the game, or this is actually what we're already thinking of. So any ideas you have in this direction, could be very valuable to us. Just a thought.
No, I think that's actually, it's really good, and it does hit an area that I feel like we're not doing a good enough job on, which is we do read everything and we do discuss things and, talk about it internally, but we don't always, and we don't usually even, I would say, comment back and say like, hey, that was a good suggestion, or here's the action that we took based on it, or, this was cool, and we're even just discussing it, right? Like sometimes I'll send a note to somebody, and a lot of times it's just a one-on-one note, like, or sort of out of people's view of vision, saying, hey, that was a cool idea, we're thinking about it. But even that is probably happening one time out of every 100 that someone is actually making a useful or interesting suggestion, whether or not, it would be something that we could actually take action on. Also, the drop rate of burled wood is fine.
Right.
I know. I never said anything about it. I just noticed a couple of threads about it.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good idea, because I think that we're probably spending more time discussing, debating, and in some cases implementing ideas that people are giving us than we are actually reporting back and telling people how we're doing that or how we're using that information. So I'll think about that, and if you guys have some suggestions for it as well, I would love to hear them, because it is something like, if you give feedback, you definitely want to feel like it was useful, even if it wasn't used, right? And every single thing people are writing is contributing to making this game better, whether or not we use it, and in some cases, whether or not we even get around to reading it, because that group, the community discussion, is what's really, really important and driving things forward. So yeah, let's figure out ways that we can better surface when we're using people's stuff.
That's why the main reason I asked that is a lot of the time you'll get the thread and you'll get the quite common suggestion at the start of the thread, but then the conversation about it within the thread is what brings up the really good suggestion. I'm sure you're aware of this, doing the round tables, exactly the same thing happens. And I just think, sometimes those additional suggestions could actually, speaking of round table, Mr. Dariani, I hear there's going to be a new format for that. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
There is. Well, we're testing a new format. One of the things that we heard is really this. Well, one of the things that people have said a lot is when we do the response video, a very, very common response that we get is, oh, well, if I had just known that that's what you meant, then I would have voted differently. I want to change my vote now, or I want to change my arguments now. And, that feels really frustrating, even though what's really valuable to us is this discussion because of the brainstorming that happens. And, just seeing 1,000 different opinions on something has a lot of value to us, which is why we made it kind of purposefully vague. But we do understand that people want to be better informed and want to have, feel like they're making more of a decision. So what we're going to try, I think, for the next 4 questions is we're going to have a blog post as opposed to just the tweets. So instead of just getting, one line from Jeff, one line from Darren, one line from Rosie, we're going to have one person, the person that we would consider like the subject matter expert, try to put, maybe 300 to 500 words together that lays out the argument a little bit more, lays out the thinking and where we are. So hopefully that will give more context for people and allow the discussion to jump off from a place where people will feel better informed.
Great.
That sounds good. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so we're going to see how that goes.
I think it's great though, because sorry, you carry on.
We're going to see how it goes. I think that was Dave's suggestion actually to do it this way, and he's going to be writing the first one because I think it's going to work out really well, and we'll see how it goes. And if it goes well, we may just keep that format. We can always go back to the other format. We can bounce between them, and we can still look at additional formats.
Great.
Sounds good. I think it's nice. It just gives that slightly further forward jumping off position to start the conversation. Because in a lot of the roundtable responses I've noticed, you start by saying, this is what we've been thinking internally, and something else from the few negative comments that I've seen about the roundtable responses is, why did they ask the question if they already had an answer? And I think a lot of the time it's just a misunderstanding that you're just stating where you are at, where you're thinking of it as a team, and then moving on from that. Whereas if you start with, this is where we're at, what do you think of that, then it's good.
Yeah, and I guess to clarify on that too, that when we say this is what we're thinking, right? I mean, we have a very large team of game designers who are very opinionated and have been doing this for years and years and years. Like they have answers for every question, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times they have 20 different answers for every question. What we're trying to do, and when we started with the roundtable, was we said, look, let's not ask a question if we've made up our minds. Like, we may know what we would do if, all things are equal, or where we're going with the idea, but if we legitimately, know that this, if the question is, should there be dwarves in EverQuest Next, and we know for sure there's going to be dwarves, we shouldn't ask that question, because that's just disingenuous, right? That's not serving anyone. But if there was any doubt that we might do that, then we can ask the question, right? So it's always something where, even if we're 80% sure we're going to do something, it's never something that we're 100% sure about. And I always want to make sure that we take that position, right? Because sometimes, and one of the next roundtables, I can't remember if it's next week's or the week after, what we were intending to do, we got something like 97% against our opinion. Some bonkers amount of people disagreed with this, and so I
think I remember that one.
And no, it's coming up. We haven't released it yet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the past one.
Was it? I don't think so. Was it with Jeff Butler? Yeah, I don't know.
That's okay.
I think it's.
I remember the question about seasons it was very, very slanted in one direction.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Where it was almost 100% people yes, we want seasons.
Yeah. No. This one is, unless it was this week, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't this week. I don't think you guys have seen this. I think it's going to be next week or the week after. And the question was, do you want multiple starting areas? Mm-hmm. And our intention was, no, we're going to have one starting area. And 97% of people said they want multiple starting areas. Colette says it hasn't aired yet. So sneak preview. Mm-hmm. And this really got to the core of the roundtable, right? And when Jeff will lay out the argument. I don't want to go into it now because obviously we're doing a video about it. Jeff's argument is completely right. When I listen to him, I'm like, absolutely, we should do it that way. That makes complete sense, But at the same time, we hear 97% of people want something else. So we then started saying, well, how can we reconcile these things, right? And so I think that the video, we have a proposition for the community, and we'll see what people think. And I think it's going to be probably the most interesting roundtable we've done so far.
Awesome.
But we really don't want to ask a question that we don't have interest in moving. If Jeff had said, when we're talking about the questions, there's only going to be one starting area, and I will kill everyone in this room, before we change our minds, then no, why would we ask the question? Because if we get 97% of people saying the other thing, we can't do anything about it because our design team has said it has to be this way. So we really try to ask questions that legitimately, have value in our discussion.
All right, guys, let's stop taking up Omeed's time here real quick. I'd like to see, there's a ton of questions coming up, and everyone in the audience is getting upset because we haven't really answered many of them. So can you get to some of those, Omeed, or do you want to skip over them?
No, I would love to answer some. Let me take a look. Let's see. A lot of the questions are about gameplay things specifically that I'm not sure where they are in the development cycle, so I wouldn't want to just lie to people about it.
Come on, we do it all the time.
We just make it up, but if it comes from him, it's official.
Here's one I could answer.
Speaking of, sorry, I was just going to say, Mr. Smith confirmed compasses.
Yeah, it's great.
No.
Thanks, Felgon.
Anyway,
that is wonderful. So here's a question. There's an EverQuest Worlds app for iPhone and Google. Can you please make one for Windows Phone? I think the answer, unfortunately, is going to be no, because it would cost I'm sorry. And especially when we go to Seattle, we get this question a lot.
I bet.
But it was really a bummer at PAX, and this was my project, like putting together this app, and we really want everyone to be able to use it, but unfortunately it just costs a significant amount of extra money to develop it for Windows phones, and not that many people have them, and on balance it wasn't worth doing, and I feel bad for the folks that have Windows phones, but most likely I would say 99% chance we're not going to have it on Windows Phone.
Okay.
Watch Smed send me an email now saying make it for Windows Phone.
What about BlackBerry?
Oh yeah, BlackBerry, that's better.
Yeah, it'll be on BlackBerry real soon.
Hold your breath.
What else do we have? Will NVIDIA be coming out with an SLA profile and beta driver for Landmark soon? Yes, I believe so. I'm not exactly sure on the timing, but we work super, super closely with NVIDIA. And they're awesome. They built all the computers for our event on last Friday, and the computers were really great. We love those guys. They were here, too. And I do believe that they will be doing beta drivers, possibly even an alpha driver. I just can't remember offhand. But I know they're working on it, and it's a priority.
Okay.
Will there be other game modes or server types for Landmark? I do believe there will certainly be other game modes. For example, the Battlefield thing that I was just talking about. We're also developing some cool stuff. I don't know if it'll actually make it all the way through the development process, but there's some really cool ideas for other game modes. So we'll definitely see some stuff like that.
Mounts.
Mounts.
God, not mounts.
Tanks.
Mounts have been confirmed. We have been talking about mounts, I believe, since Gamescom. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to get them in, but we definitely will have them.
I guess people are wanting either mounts or Spirit of the Wolf. The thing is, guys, you can make those little footy-looking things that look like little boots with wings on them. And if you put them on and you hold the shift key, you can run pretty damn fast. Plus, you use your grappling hook, you probably don't even need a mount. I do want to mention one thing. When Omeed has to leave, if you guys want to stick around, there's still a few devs in the chat, and we can ask some of the more technical questions to, say, Felgon, maybe, who might be able to answer some of those questions.
Absolutely. And so I think the last question I'll answer is, when do I think EverQuest Next will have an alpha? And the answer is sometime next year, probably. We are planning it for next year. We haven't gotten to an actual date yet. But we will be discussing that in more detail, I'm sure, around SOE Live.
Great.
Oh,
Awesome.
Why is SOE Live always the same week at games as Gen Con? It's because we suck. I love Gen Con and used to go every year, and it does kind of bum me out that they're the same weekend. Honestly, it's just scheduling. Like, scheduling into Vegas is really difficult to get halfway decent rates. If we want to schedule it at exactly some specific time, it'll end up costing twice as much, and then we have to charge everyone twice as much, and that's not good. The weekend that we chose is the best economical and timing balance weekend that's possible. Of course, Gen Con knows that too, which is exactly why it's the same weekend in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does bum me out every year. That's all the questions I'm going to be able to answer today, guys.
Okay. Well, I really, really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm totally surprised you had any time this week to do this sort of thing, so really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for doing this, and thanks so much for watching, everybody. It really is great and makes us so happy. You know, the reason that all of us are in here watching is because watching you guys talk about this is so much fun and makes our jobs like just that much easier to do.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. I'm glad we have this relationship because we'll keep it going.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Omeed. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Cheers, man.
All right. Let's see. Got to turn off the Omeed cam. Which one is he? See, there's no way to label it in this program.
Because if there were, you
there
could
we
just
go.
label it the Omeed Burley.
Yep. All right. So now I got to turn the chat back on. Okay. Okay. Before everyone bails, because there's so many people, please hit the follow button here. We're trying to get 1 million followers on this channel, which is really, really soon. We'll have 1 million followers. Just hit the follow button for us, because once this channel gets partnered, we'll be able to do better content and have dancing girls. So.
Wait, what?
Well, maybe
Why was I
dancing
not told
boys.
about this?
Well, for Trendane, we'll have dancing boys.
Because you're not a girl, Tobran, for the last time.
They're to be fair, they're going to be XR, male and female strip dancers. So
Yes.
if you're into that thing, Omeed already gave the nod of approval on it.
Many times.
All right, guys. So what we could do is go through these questions that were for Omeed and see if Felgod can answer some of them, or we can just talk about them, what we think.
Or we can just answer them ourselves.
Yeah, because we're pretty good at that, right? All right, so let's start at the top, and we're going to answer all your questions, everybody. So hang in there. We got 1 more hour of the show, so we'll go ahead and answer these questions. Tommy Hilder, how much of a role will the gods play in EverQuest Next? You mentioned on a panel some time ago that they would perhaps be included in the game since they played such a significant role in previous titles. Can you say anything about the part they'll play in Next, specifically be able to choose a deity? He's talking more about Next and not Landmark, so I don't know if we really have much to say about this other than all the gods have basically been totally thrown out the window and they brought new ones in. Same names, just different effects. What do you guys think about the gods?
Which one's responsible for beer and cheese?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Dionysus,
whichever one that
yeah.
is, that would be probably the one I'd be rocking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see maybe if the altars are tied to God, so that way the appearance and the effects and stuff. And if you're a follower of that deity, you can get super extra special, kick-ass bonuses that nobody else would be able to get at that altar.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I think that sounds cool. I'm not sure if they'd go down the getting special bonuses track though, because remember when we were talking about race class restrictions, it's one of those things that if when you're making your character, you have to make that decision. You can't be expected to know what those bonuses are, and people go crazy over that min-max stuff. If they think they're gimped and they didn't have a chance to make a proper choice about it, then that's a quit point for some people, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Let's keep on moving because we got about 800 questions here. A question here for Omeed if he's playing Alpha and what is he building? We can't. He's already gone. Well, Dave, okay, we already got that one. All right. So in Minecraft, they fixed the missing textures by adding a forced software rendering option in the INI file. Any thoughts on this being related to the Intel graphics bug? Because I get a peak of 40 FPS on HD 4000, aside from the game being very playable. 40 FPS isn't bad.
I think it works. It works a bit differently, isn't it? It's based on a voxel. Isn't it like a mesh to get the textures on? Reese is probably a better person to answer this than.
I'm not 100% sure exactly how it works with the voxels. I would imagine that it's the way it looks to me is like when I'm working in, say, Maya or a 3D program, that there's a procedurally generated 3D texture, and no matter how I modify it, cut it in different ways, it'll always be seamless. So if I've got a brick texture, I can cut it in whatever way and it'll always look right. So I could see it being maybe something along those lines, but not 100% sure, to be perfectly honest. What I do know is that there was some talk of the GeForce 260 GTX also having some issues with that and just rendering black a lot of times. So I think Dave even said his did that.
isn't it?
So yeah, it's older, but it's one of the better ones of those older cards. But I could see it kind of being out of date by this point.
Let's see. Fatal Flaw says, "Hey Locke, is there a way to gain the ability to talk the way you do and get that serious pro look on your face?" He's practicing, but it's hard. Raise your eyebrow up. Do it. Do it. There you go. Yeah, that's hardcore.
Pretty sure that's unnatural.
There is a way, but it's...
You've got a piece of fishing line taped to your eyebrow, don't you? And Foo is like standing behind you, pulling it up every time.
She's out there, my baby. I love you.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. They're in the chat. They're talking. Omeed has left the building, so I apologize that he's not here right now. But we're gonna try to get him back again, and maybe Dexel or Pentapod can come on the show. Ladies, you're in the audience. I know you're there. Maybe
you need
next
to make
week.
that sound just a little bit more creepy. It's like, ladies.
Well, you do that. You got the voice for that. Not
yeah,
I.
but I'm gay.
Yeah, but you can still do the ladies.
No, I don't do the ladies. I'm gay. We covered this just a few seconds ago.
Wait a minute. Trendane's gay?
Oh my God! What the hell? Jesus!
He just came out into the portal.
Oh my God! That's the biggest revelation of the day. Tell you what, though, there's so many
I
things
said came
I
out in.
to,
I did a whole.
There's so many things that I wanted to ask Mr. Dariani. It's one of those things, isn't it? You just want to grill him. You're just going to be like, what about this? What about that? What's happening with this?
So
and I think in the kind of unfinished state that it's in, the whole 60% complete. I'm really trying to envisage what that sort of remaining 40% is going to hold for us until launch, and I'm thoroughly optimistic so far, to be honest. I think the holes that are there, you can see the direction that they're going in, and I think the potential to create a really social game, and not just in the game either. Like the original EverQuest, I think one of the things that really cemented the social aspect of it and really made it like that was all the stuff that happened outside of the game,
Mm-hmm.
And with Landmark, we're going to be posting the screenshots up and down vote, and the whole things with the player studio is going to make people really active in the community.
Oh, that was something I really wanted to talk to him about. Downvote. Do not do downvote. Omeed, if you're still listening, no downvote in the game at all. Okay, because the system,
you can abuse that.
Yes,
just
you
as
can,
much
but
as you
not
can.
as much. I mean, it's better just to say I like this or just don't say anything at all, because that downvote thing is really abusable. And I write reviews for Amazon, which has an up and down system. Reddit, which you love, Locke, has an up and down system.
But then if you only allow upvotes, then the biggest guild gets the most upvotes.
No matter if it's...
But how are you going to stop it? So say they have 500 people upvoting, you're going to stop it by giving it one downvote? I mean, that doesn't help.
No, it would, no matter whether or not there's downvotes, a very complex weighting system is definitely the solution for this. Somebody who, only votes here and there for a few things, okay, maybe their votes might be worth more than somebody who just goes around and votes up on everything, especially if the things they vote up or down on are the same things that the same 500 people vote up or down on. Then all of their upvotes or downvotes are weighted differently, because they're considered this kind of clique that goes around and upvotes and downvotes, versus little old independent person who only does maybe 1 to 10 upvotes and downvotes per week. They're still getting the full weight for all of those, and the fact that theirs has such extra weight to it actually impacts everybody else's. So theirs is the one that's kind of the barometer compared to everyone else's lower weighted votes. I
still see no purpose in it.
Because neutral wouldn't be zero. That's
Neutral
point,
is zero. Yeah, well, that's the whole. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Neutral is the usual amount of up and down votes that a submission will receive. The same way that on Reddit, on the Reddit. All right,
Yes.
let's talk about that. You brought it up.
Well,
on
you
the
love
Reddit,
it. I mean, you have a thing about it.
On the subreddit, official announcements from SOE get downvotes.
Yes.
On the subreddit for the game. Now,
right, which makes no sense, because down is supposed to mean on Reddit.
Every single post gets a certain amount of downvotes, so that's neutral. You expect a post to get 2 or 3 downvotes just because haters going to hate and people are idiots.
But that's what I'm saying. So
then
do we need to have haters
going
to hate?
Okay, if an average post gets 6 up and 2 down, then that's neutral. Well, that's like 0. But then it's the people that don't vote on everything, like Reese was saying. It's those people that don't vote. As soon as 3 of those vote it up, or 3 of them vote it down, their actual percentage of votes is lower. But then because it takes it away from the neutral, then that makes the difference. But if you only have upvotes, then you've got no way to gauge that kind of neutral, because people can only add.
And I have a very specific point to bring up on this particular
topic. Go ahead, yeah, please do.
As of I believe it was this morning, I read the article that with the new mobile dungeon keeper on like, I'm
totally not knowing what you're talking about. So can you fill us in a little bit?
Yeah. I will.
Okay.
It's a game. Dungeon Keeper was an old game back in like the late '80s, early '90s, maybe mid '80s and everything. Really awesome, just fantastic kind of resource management kind of game. Where you spawn all these imps and you basically build a dungeon, and then the system sends in heroes to try to conquer your dungeon, destroy the dungeon heart, and you have to build defenses and everything preemptively to kill them before they can manage to do that. Great game. EA got a hold of the rights to it.
I knew that's where we were going here. Hey Reese, fix your mic a little bit, would you?
Oh, my apologies.
Okay, thanks.
They got a hold of the rights to it years ago, and they've just been sitting on it. Now they decided eventually to make a mobile version of the game, because Dungeon Keeper 2 was okay. Dungeon Keeper 3 was just all kinds of ass. And so they decided, okay, we'll make, this mobile game, and it is horrid. It is absolutely terrible. There are certain blocks that, part of the thing is, okay, you've got this entire gold vein, and you just tell your imps, mine this entire range, sort of like what you did with RimWorld. How you would tell your guys to mine out this thing? Yeah. Same sort of thing. But each block could take you as much as 24 hours to mine out, unless you buy the thing and you pay a little bit of money, and then they instantly mine that square out.
Nice.
It is a cash vampire.
But then the best part is, once you do mine the block out, there's no game. There's no reason to mine it out, because instead of heroes invading your place, as soon as you say that you want to fight, so it's not at a random time, you don't have to be prepared for it, you just say you want to fight, and then it takes you to a different tower defense type thing.
Completely.
Where then it's just random, and you just...
What does this have to do with the up-down?
I was just about to say, but what this has to do with the thing, this morning I read an article where, I think it's on Android or something, or no, it's on the Google Play Store.
Right.
When you're rating the thing, you have a choice between 5 stars or 1 to 4 stars. If you vote 5 stars, that rating goes to the Google Play display page.
Right.
You vote 1 to 4,
and they give you gems.
No, actually maybe. But you vote 1 to 4, it doesn't go anywhere public. It goes back to EA and gets shuffled off into their thing where they can deal with it nice and quietly. They don't want.
How could they do that?
Well, that's exactly what you're talking about. No downvotes, please. It's the same thing. And believe me, you don't want Sony going down the same road that EA is on right now. Do not do that.
No, but it's different, I think. What's up, Tobran?
I understand the conversation. I've barely spoken this entire time, so I'm just going to go and rant on.
Sorry if my mouse was over somebody's name banning. It was just an accident, just sort of sitting there. I wasn't going to ban you, sorry. Go ahead.
On Reddit, there's this place called Free Karma. If you're sad enough on Reddit and you want free karma, you post whatever you want there, and the only thing you can do is upvote. People post there. It's kind of sad. People have figured out a way to downvote on it, and they do it, for the lols.
Right.
Imagine this happens. Imagine how many people would hate it. And then you've got Trenday's explanation. If there is none, hey, everyone's just gonna get, well, why can I not say this is bad, or why can I not do this? it needs a constructive system. If someone thinks it's good, they should at least like leave a comment saying this is good because blah 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 blah, or this is bad because blah blah blah.
All right,
blah, blah.
Tobran, how about this? You're pretty well
Then
known.
how do you judge? How do you judge if a build's got if someone popular builds something? If someone
I was
part
just
of
gonna
a
say
large
that.
build who does lots of videos and they get 1 billion upvotes.
No, what if
how
it's
do
the
you
other
weigh
way
that
around? What if
against
everybody
someone
hates
who's never
Tobran?
spoken to anyone on game and
Right.
builds something brilliant, but no one knows who they are, and they're off on out in the sticks where no one's ever going to see them and they don't promote it or anything, but they built something brilliant. Like how do you weigh those against each other?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is because you could go either way with this. But what I'm saying is, like, what if Tobran, he's popular on YouTube, he builds a thing, and everybody hates Tobran, but they don't ever tell him to his face. The same people who downvote all of his Reddit posts and downvote all of his videos, they come in and they downvote every one of his castles he builds or whatever. You know, I mean...
Yeah, but then he's really popular, so he's got loads of people upvoting him.
He might not.
Right, here's the thing,
The
though.
trolls might win.
This is something
But then
where Reddit... God damn it, let me speak. Right, this is something Reddit does well. They have a new queue. Anything new that comes up, you can just see it instantly and upvote it or downvote it. If the games had a system like that where it's like, hey, look at all the popular builds, but on the side, here's a few of the new ones that you can look at as well. Why not do it that way? To me, that makes sense. You can see all the new ones and the popular ones at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, if you as a builder don't have downvotes, then how can you know whether people genuinely like it or not? You say, oh wow, I got 5 upvotes on this build, but actually 10,000 people saw it and 9,995 of them thought it was rubbish. But because you've got 5 upvotes, you're like, hey, everyone's loving this, I'm going to make 10.
All right. Okay.
You know? And so what? If
I will
you
concede.
get downvotes, so what?
What do you mean,
Doesn't
so
mean
what,
anything.
Locke? You go to Reddit.
It's people on Reddit.
Yes, but you go to Reddit and somebody gives you 2 downvotes and you go nuts. You're like, I'm going to go rape
I don't
rape
go
your
nuts.
cat.
I just think
Yeah,
they're
you-
idiots.
You just say you're going to rape his cat.
Yeah. That's what Locke would say.
Okay.
Hang on.
It could happen.
I've never.
He could lose it.
But
Just
that's
say-
it, though, isn't it? Because it's not those people. Every time, you know, every time, like let's say if Tobran posts something and he's just got people that follow him and go, I'm going to downvote Tobran. I'm going to downvote Tobran. Exactly. Of course, it happens.
It happens to
But
me
it
all the
doesn't
time.
mean anything. It doesn't matter. They're the people that downvote everything.
There are definitely people that do that. All right, let's move on. We beat that topic up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have a rough estimate? We see snow the game. The new biomes are coming. Everybody. They said I believe there's going to be a jungle biome that's coming and a winter biome is coming. So that's the next 2 biomes, I believe.
Just paint your claim with marble and it looks like
Oh
snow.
yeah. You go dig up all that marble to paint your claim with.
I've already got it.
Well, you're good for you. Everybody wants to know about water, which we have no idea yet. Remember, everybody who's asking, the water is not like a water in any other game. Normally, a water in a game would be like basically a flat plane that's water, and then underneath is like cold water, and so basically you swim through that area, but as a plane. In EverQuest Next Landmark, it's built out of voxels, so you could build a tower somewhere, fill it with water, and then if you dug a hole in the bottom, all that water would leak out. So it's a system that's never been done before in a game, other than like Minecraft, but with this level of fidelity. So it's going to be a little while before they get water.
Yeah.
What were you
So
saying,
the-
Trendy?
That is
Water
good.
I
physics.
was going to say, if the walls are really thick on this tower,
Yeah.
and you got it full of water, and you dig a hole down into the thing, when the water leaks out, is it going to like shoot out an arc? Like,
That's a good
make,
question.
Like fountains and stuff with it and everything.
That would be cool. I don't know. That's still up in the air, I think.
Yeah, I don't, flowing and hydraulic pressure and all of that stuff. I'm not sure how long it's going to be before those will actually be, fully functional.
Mm-hmm.
Just going beyond being able to put in something that's, not just a fake volume of fake water that when your character enters, they're turned on to swim mode and they have oxygen and breath, and the screen has a blue filter over it. It's going to be a lot more complex than that.
All right. So, will there be farming in the game to grow plants for our buildings or crafting?
I don't think we're actually able to make harvestable things on our claims. I think it's going to be all going out in the wild.
I heard you could craft trees, though. I think that's coming.
Craft trees, but that's basically using them as props. That's not, like Jaffa bushes that you go down out with the scythe and you harvest the Jaffa fruits.
Tobran.
Yeah.
Did you eat them all already?
No, I have 5 left.
Okay.
So.
He just said Jaffa twice, so you're compelled.
Do you harvest Jaffa with a scythe?
Well, they're magic Jaffa.
Oh.
You see, they grow on bushes.
Sides are confirmed.
But yeah, sides are apparently.
I believe in Scotland the traditional tool is a spiked club. Tobran, is that? Right?
That's how we catch the haggis.
That's how you hunt jaffas. That's how you hunt haggis.
Yeah.
Jaffas is a whole new ball game. Okay.
Hunting haggis.
Haggis hunting. It's amazing. It's a good sport.
Oh yeah.
Let's
National
see.
pastime.
Off the top of your head, there'll be a way to limit the selection tool to just the dimensions of the claims that are going. That's really frustrating. If you guys have been watching me build, and I don't build too much on the stream because it's really hard to get the selection tool. Sometimes you're moving it down the wall, and all of a sudden it just pops out of the wall and goes all the way out into the middle of the claim. Like it just shoots far away, and then you try to bring it back, and then it comes way too far in. So it's a bit up and down right now. LegendaryNeurotoxin is getting a call from the CIA. He's a sleeper agent getting his call back.
Someone's just put in chat, keep PvP out of my game, and their name is Share Bear Pony.
PvP out of my game.
That's awesome.
I hope that's a troll because that's amazing. That's brilliant. I'm not going to talk about PvP. Talking about Landmark.
Yeah, we're not doing PvP anymore.
But there will be lots and lots and lots of PvP in Landmark, and it will be amazing. But you won't have to do it if you don't want to, so it's cool.
Sitting on chairs was another question. That's coming apparently. That's not yet. All right. What are the recipes that drop in the world having fun? Are there any recipes? Have you guys found any recipes that drop?
There are 0 recipes that drop in the world right now.
You do it all at your crafting
The relics
station.
aren't available. There's no restored relics. There's no damaged relics. Everything you're finding that's not an ore, an elemental ore, essence of earth, or coal is coming off of when you chop trees and you get the jute and the other plant material. That's all there is right now.
Okay.
It's one of those things. So much to come. Like there's already, with the procedural generation of tools and things, there's already quite a lot of depth to the system. There's enough where people are posting the tools that they get, which is brilliant. Like that kind of showing off was something that we were worried wouldn't happen in Landmark, but it seems to be happening already. And like with the extra depth to the system and being able to push it further, like I'm really hoping there's going to be some things for people to really be proud of in it. And all this stuff as well, like the general progression of it, because you need the previous tool to get the next tool. It means that every tier of materials is always relevant, no matter what you're crafting. So someone day one in the game coming in and getting, copper and sand and stone and dirt, all of that stuff that they're digging up that's going to be useless to them may potentially be very useful to a more advanced player, and that's when you start. Because I know Reese has got plans already to be be taking that stuff off new players' hands.
The other thing is right now the copper axe is superior because you don't need striped wood, and I don't know if you even need a gold axe or striped wood. Burled wood is all you need. So the best right now is copper and plain wood, and the elemental copper or whatever. Just 10 copper ton elemental, or 10 ingots rather than 10 elemental, and I think 1,000 plain wood, and you can make another copper axe. Now, with the thing that gives you the crafting quality bonus, maybe you generate 10, 20, 50 of those. You keep the best 1 or 2 legendary ones that come out of it, and then there's plenty of good blue ones that you can sell or otherwise.
Well, there's a question right there. The sell. Like I did exactly what you're talking about. I wanted to get a legendary copper axe because you can do awesome stuff with that copper axe, and it's cheap to make. But you can't. There's no place to sell these things. I ended up just throwing away about 20 of them because there's
I believe Felgon tweeted out that they've disabled the salvage feature right now because it wasn't working right, and I never saw anything coming back from salvage, so I can definitely confirm it didn't seem like it was working right at all. Once that comes back, I'm guessing what would happen is when you've got something that you're done with, you can just salvage it and maybe get some of the wood back. If it's something that uses burrowed wood, you'd be able to get that precious burrowed wood back, and it's definitely something that'll help out. Or if you do craft a batch of things and you get a bunch of crappy ones, you can salvage them all and hopefully get enough material to get another 3 or 4 throws at it.
The thing is, though, at the moment, this is great for now, but it's going to become a moot point fairly quickly. They've said that wood harvesting is going to work slightly differently, and when you get those extra tiers of materials in, people are going to be pushing further. When scarcity increases, I think is when we're going to start seeing a lot more trading in the game. I don't know. I have no idea if there'll be any kind of trading system beyond people just bartering with each other. But when you introduce that scarcity into a community, as we are now, I think you're going to see a lot more kind of cohesion, and that's when organization structures like guilds are going to become important. Exciting times.
Sounds good. Hold on, looking for the next question here. I just scrolled up. I was trying to get something.
I was looking. Let's do some filling time. Tobran, you're a dancing girl. Go for it. We need to fill time. It's dead air, Tobran. It's all on you.
Why me?
Will you just have a like button for buildings, or can you classify the like, giving it a 2 or 4 or something? We just talked about that. I guess probably don't want to beat that horse up anymore.
I would say one more thing on that horse to beat is
flog it.
I'd rather have not just an upvote or a downvote or a 1 to 5 star, but you actually have to fill out a form and you have to fill in fields and quantify things, so it isn't just a quick up-down sort of thing. You're actually putting good input into it, and if all of your input's really crap, maybe other people can actually review the input from other people. I don't know. Definitely just something so it isn't just a quick upvote or a downvote, but they actually have to say something meaningful, so it's a source of feedback for people that want it.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I prefer, like Tobran was saying, the system of just making everything very visible and having like minimum effort required from people, because I think it's going to come down to volume of click-throughs, really, like for the system to work. If you get like too into the nitty-gritty and you're asking people to fill out questions and things, I think a lot of people just won't do it. And I'd rather just see big volume. I mean, we know from the roundtable responses and things, people are far more likely to just click on something, just saying, "Yep, that's good, that's the one, move on."
So
but just make it very visible. Like, sorry, Trendo, what was it?
So you're saying we should optimize for the path of least resistance?
Trendo.
Oh!
Oh my God! I'm finally getting through to everyone.
Oh, I realized the chat was all screwed up. Sorry about that, everybody.
It's okay. I've been occasionally glancing over and like, this is a giant gray block coming to get me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's back. It's back, everybody. It's back. All right, I was just trying to upload something. All right. Another question for the tiers, which we have no answer for. When combat is added, I'm guessing it will include PvP. Will PvP include looting other corpses? What do you think, Locke? Or go ahead, Legendary. You can go.
Unless there's something that you can set up where there's an item that's only exclusive to your claim that can be acquired by players and then looted by other players off of it, perhaps like a ball in some sort of violent sport type game, then I could see something like that. Otherwise, being able to collect equipment and resources and other things off of another player, absolutely not.
People are made of meat.
I think
they're made of
I think it's one of those things. I think betting would be good. Dueling with bets. Being able to bet on duels or bet on PvP. Being able to wager resources between players. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think direct corpse looting, because of the way that inventory works in the game, I don't think that's something that they're going to want to go they're going to want to go near. Because you imagine, like, if someone kills you and then they have access to your complete inventory. Well, I think that's, that,
what do you guys think about that
point.
so
If
far?
someone's been out there getting bold wood.
Is that...
I like it.
No, what I'm saying is there is no BOA, BOE, BOP, no destruction on the equipment yet. So basically, you could turn somebody from being a level 1 noob into having the top level stuff. You could give them everything. You could give them a crafting table. You could give them a rubicite pick. All the top level stuff, and there's like nothing to stop that from happening. What are your thoughts on that?
If you started a game of Terraria, I could jump in and give you the top level materials right now. You still wouldn't have killed all the bosses and unlocked hard mode, but you'd be able to just tear right through the earth like it's nothing. You'd be able to jump, you'd be able to fly, all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Trendane?
Alpha.
You think that they might add that eventually? Like they'll add the destructibility of the equipment and BOA, BOP?
Maybe not in Landmark. I mean, I would hope so. At least, even if there is a destructibility to the items, even if it's an incredibly long period of time, and they just have an insanely high durability, I think there should be some decay. Mm-hmm. It may take weeks to go through it, but I mean, in a game where you're trying to kind of make it as realistic as possible, what the hell was that?
It's a cat.
Somebody. Oh, I thought somebody decided to just start trimming their nails. Stop!
That wasn't me.
Nope.
I think eventually you need a material sink, don't you? If you just let people carry on mining forever and the world just kept replenishing, you need a way to take stuff out of the economy. Whether that's through item decay or some other means, it's yet to be seen. Seems the most obvious way, though.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear the cat outside the door?
No.
Okay, good.
I can't.
Let's see.
But yeah, as far as giving people all this stuff, it's kind of I don't see too much of a problem with it, really.
I love it, to be quite honest with you right now. Because I have people that are into like watching my stream, and I want to give them a prize. They can come up and I can give them an axe that I'm not using anymore. And you're like, oh yeah, you can have this axe. And it's great. It's great to give it to somebody because to them that's a massive upgrade. For me, it's just like, it's something I'm not using anymore.
It's part of the horizontal nature of the game as well, isn't it? The fact that I think it's more important that the items are levelless. So however much time you spend in the game, if you pick one direction and you just go, you say, I want to have the best pick and that's all I'm going to do, and you go down that path, it doesn't take very long. And it's just time, isn't it? And I think eventually, once they put in material sinks, once scarcity comes into it, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to convince someone to just give you like all of the top tier stuff. I mean, I'm hoping that top tier, the very top tier stuff, is difficult to get. I'm hoping that it is going to be, when Reese gets the first legendary like top tier pick, whatever it is, like I hope that's going to be like a big source of pride. He's going to be able to put it up and go, look at what I've managed to do. Mm-hmm. I hope it's not just a question of you jump in and then a few hours later you've got the max of everything and then it's like, all right, regression over. I'd want it to. They'd have to be like a really good friend to give you anything that was like right at the top.
It's probably going to be too difficult of a game for people to be that charitable with items of higher and higher quality. I just think about, we've seen the Chomper. That's out in the desert. Deserts are going to be a tier 1 biome. That's going to be on the surface. And those things just swallow you whole. So, just trying to get tin and, iron and stuff like that is going to be difficult enough. I can't imagine how much more difficult the creatures below the surface are going to be. You might need half an army just to be able to, mine a little vein that you found towards the surface. You follow it down, follow it down, follow it down. As you do that, you've got tons and tons of kobolds or something that are just pouring out of random holes and just, swarming you and everybody.
I'd love that. I can't wait for the stories of people going, don't mine the block below you. You remember that when Minecraft Alpha first started, you get just people dropping into rooms full of creepers. I hope that starts happening. Because that's the kind of thing, when something happens that is unexpected, that's what sandbox games are about. You know, that's why we get excited about the sandbox, because so many things can happen. And just like telling the story of, I was mining down this tin bay and I hit the wrong block, and like this thing just burst, this tentacle burst out and grow. Things like that are what make those games fun for me.
Absolutely.
And it's limitless as well, because everything underground is they can change it all the time. Amazing.
So I saw
I'm
this
quite excited
block
about
and I
this.
hit it, and then lava just started pouring out on me and everyone.
Yeah. So many times. Oh man, I'm quick on the draw now though. Put that rock in there, that cobblestone. Get it in.
Sorry, guys. I woke up an old god made of Jaffa. Somebody call Tobran. Get him over here quickly.
Oh my god, and we haven't. Oh my god, never even said anything about the AI. Can you imagine, like, if there's a creature down there that got pissed off if someone like went into their cave and started trying to dig its way up to the surface?
I can imagine this poor like level 1 guy. He's just got his little copper pick and he digs through a hole and he's got this guy like chasing after him, just running across the map.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Seeing the scale of the Iron Golem compared to the PlanetSide 2 assets, that was Vanu Labs who cracked open the data files and did that.
I'll have to look for that. I saw the picture. I didn't see actually look at it close.
Those things are so huge. Your claim, it'll walk up and it'll be like, oh, I can just reach my arm up and now I can climb to the top of your claim. Or smash it down. They're freaking gantic.
I saw. Well, remember the very first video they showed from SOE was that thing swinging through the house, and
I think they're bigger now.
Oh, they're being bigger. Yeah, why not?
I think they're even bigger now.
I got a question here from Shadowspawn. Says, not really a question, but a comment. Desire, please do not make the game easy. Make the players have to earn what they get. I thoroughly enjoyed having to work for 15 minutes to get enough of an item to make something. If it's too easy, then it ceases to be accomplishments, or rather become what I call the Staples easy button. I wanted to comment on this because I'm in the same agreement. When I first started playing and I had my founder's pickaxe and I went out there and I started digging in the hole in the ground, it was really, really slow, and it took me like 2 or 3 hours to gather like 400 stone, and it was just ridiculous. I went back to my claim, I dropped down the first block and it used up a huge chunk of my stone. I dropped down the next block, it was all gone. I'm like, wait a second, I just dug for 25 minutes to get that much stone. I dropped 2 blocks and it's gone. Later on, I got better picks, and now I go out there and swing it once and it just picks up thousands of stone at each swing, so it's kind of moot to be so worried about how the game's going to perform, because it's still alpha first off, but also I do like to have to work for those kind of things. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
When Serenity Server first came up is when I first finally had a claim that I really built on. Mm-hmm. So it was the same for me, except it wasn't 4,000 stone, it was 200,000 stone.
Right.
And it was just gone like that.
Yep. It gets used up pretty quickly.
It does, especially when you make a giant floating pyramid.
Oh, is your pyramid the upside down floating pyramid?
Yeah, that's mine.
All right. Well, mine's the floaty castle right next to the portal on Serenity on Esker. So if anybody's looking for my stuff, yeah, I'll have to go check yours out.
It's also fully functional forge.
I do think. I think the progression is going to be in.
He says, I loved it when somebody handed me a Rubicite pick for free. That's not working for it. But I still had to do everything else. So yes, I did get a Rubicite pick for free. It was like some random person ran up. His name was Rex. Thank you, Rex, if you're watching. I just popped my claim down on Serenity. I just deleted my character because I didn't have a claim flag. And the only way to get a claim flag was to delete your character. So I deleted it, lost everything I had, and ran up.
It's cool though. That's fine though, because the progression doesn't stop with that. Like right. even if someone did give you a pick, it's like, yeah, great, you've got that. But eventually you'll get to the point where you've got everything else you need, and you go, oh, if I make some more of these, I could have like a legendary one instead of, if I make a few more, maybe I could get maybe now I've got a legendary one, I could get a legendary one with discovery on it, or with reach on it, or maybe with 2 different stats, so it never really, you never really get to the point where you're finished and where you're done.
I've
had problems with RNG systems in the past, but I think when you tie it in to progression in that way, I think they've been quite clever with that.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think.
That's when you have to pray to RNGesus.
I mean, I'd love to be able to upgrade to something else, like I really want to go more the sci-fi route, so a spider robot with the mining laser that I'm riding around on would make a lot more sense for something I'd want to do. And it might not be the highest tier version of that, but it's a freaking mechanical spider that you're riding on with the mining laser. It's awesome. It's totally awesome.
It'll work.
I'd have that.
Chendane, you're scraping the pot makes people's teeth hurt.
Just wait until next time. Next time, when I'm ready to commit suicide, I'll take the fork and stick it in my mouth and bite down on it as hard as I can. Go, just rip it. Used to do that to my sister, man.
You used to do that to your sister. That's worse than cat raping. Okay, so next, Zedekus says, will there be a better functioning map and will there be mounts? We know about the mounts, yes. And the map, Felgon earlier said there will be a compass on the map now.
There was already a compass, but it just didn't move.
It didn't move, yeah. And they're going to be...
I'm sure in one of the introduction videos, Dave Georgeson makes a point of saying that the map is very early development and it'll be improved a lot.
Mm-hmm. And also, the square claim issue that you're seeing right now, where you have this claim and then you got the buffer around the outside of the claim, that's all going away. They're going to make it to where you see nothing but red and blue on the map. If it's red, that means you can't build there. If it's blue, you can build there. And make it so much easier to do that. Oh, it'll move now. See, Felgun's still there. Felgun, do you want to, if I can I ask some of these more technical questions and you could answer them in the chat and then I'll read it off? I don't know if you're up for that, but there's a couple.
Are we still in slow-mo?
It's going to be in slow-mo and there's a delay, so I can ask a couple, and if you want, you could just answer them. But let me know if that's okay with you. We'll go on to the next questions.
He could just barge into Omeed's office.
What's that?
He could just barge into Omeed's office and say, hey, I need your camera.
Yeah, you could go sit in Omeed's office and we could have you on the show. That'll make it even easier. I wonder if Omeed would be up for that. By the way, behind Omeed's head on that board, it said Step 1 /ONOD. And I don't know what Step 2 or Step 3 were. Or Step 3 was profit. Yeah, Step 2 was question mark.
It should be the message when you load in for the first time. Welcome to landmark /ONOD to begin.
Mm-hmm. Step 2 is question mark.
I got a chuckle out of him.
Step 3 is profit. Okay. All right, so next question. This is a Farlax Live. Says, I feel my forum posts are being ignored and make me very upset. Sorry, this is from Germany. I think they're doing a pretty good job. Most of my posts have been ignored too. No, just kidding. Most of the posts that I've been doing have been pretty well answered. Not maybe by Dexella, but people are in the community, know a lot about the game, and they're being helpful.
It's the important thing to remember. I know I brought it up earlier, but it is the thing that they do genuinely read stuff. Mm-hmm. They do genuinely want to hear what you have to say about the game. So, if you've got anything that you want to share, be constructive about it. Try and be intelligent about it. Try and say things that are useful to them. Mm-hmm. Don't just say, I hate this, right. Because it's not helpful. It's what's the point in that? But they genuinely are listening. I promise. That's Luck's personal guarantee on behalf of Sony Online. They do want us to talk about it, and they are listening. So yeah.
I can't give Felgon mod access. Sorry, Felgon. Oh, sorry. This is the problem with using another person's channel, but it's okay. It works. All right, moving on. He asked the NVIDIA question. What's the status about having counting boxes interactable, so I can type 100 instead of that was part of my thing I found today, is that you can, with my macro that I was talking about, I can hold the arrow and it goes up to 100 instantly. It's amazing. But right now you have to click it 100 times. It's annoying. Here's a question. Felgon, this is a question for you because you're in the chat and you don't have to answer it right away. We'll go on to another question. But any answer on colorblind mode? Because if you move your mouse over a spot on the ground, it should sort of come up with this is tungsten or this is copper. There's plenty of people I know that are completely colorblind and they can't see these colors. and there's no like indication of what it is that they're going to be mining. And most of these things are very colorful, which they look great for people like myself who are not colorblind at all. But if you are, it is kind of a issue. So if you can do that,
while we're waiting for an answer on that, I just had an idea that I've never seen in a game before with crafting systems like that. I was thinking about, clicking the thing is annoying, holding it is annoying, having to type the number in, like you have to move your hands on the keyboard. It's not optimal. But have you ever seen a game that just has like a slider for how much you want to make? So you just like click and drag. Because I think to me that makes the most sense.
Is there a click and drag in this? No, it's not clicking.
No, I'm saying there is. But I was just trying to think of what the optimal solution would be for the number, like crafting a high number of things. And I just thought, if you had a slider like along the bottom of the crafting window, like that makes sense. I just want to say it while people are here, because then I feel important. Because
actually, it'd be great to extrapolate that and having features like setting limits like craft until certain amount completed or craft until legendary, so you keep going with your resources and it stops when the first legendary is made or something like that.
That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, I was talking about this the other day actually, with the idea of having a sort of a player-made quest log system where you sort of make a quest log for yourself, and you can create your own sort of, I don't know what you call it, like a victory conditions for different quests. So you could maybe have one that said, you could set a quest for yourself, craft legendary whatever pick, and then as you work towards that goal, it could just go ping, and maybe you wouldn't get anything for it. But I was thinking, because when you're away from crafting tables, you don't have the recipes with you. I was thinking you could just set something and you go, okay, I need 10 million bold wood. And you set a quest for yourself, and you say victory condition for this quest is I have 10 million bold wood in my inventory. And then you go out and you're hacking away at trees, and then as soon as you've got it, it goes ping, you have 10 million bold wood. Happy 90th birthday. And
yeah, right, because it would take you that long. So I guess Felgon got called away, so he can't answer that question because, they're trying to fix the servers right now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But thank you, Penapod, for giving us an update. I'll try to ask it when he comes back. Thanks.
And if there are any questions that you guys have asked that we didn't get to, save them and ask them later. I mean, we've got plenty of time before this game is released to continue asking.
Oh, I thought you meant
questions.
tonight. I'm like, we've only got like 10 minutes. But
no, I mean, for time immemorial until the game is released.
So, something I was going to mention, we could talk about it real quick if you wanted, but otherwise, the wrap-up of the event Friday last week, Tobran and I were both there, and it was a lot of fun. Tobran got in a lot of interviews. I haven't tracked them all and watched them all yet, but we were both on the official live stream at a couple of different times, and I'm pretty sure Tobran has. I've done on my my weekly live feature rant, a little wrap up about it, and showed off all the swag and loot and stuff that I earned, and give my own little account of it. Tobran, did you do something on one of your private videos as well?
Yeah, I just did a quick roundup video, but nothing special. I was just kind of tired from all the fights and stuff. I was just like, it's bad.
So
of course it was special.
Well, we could talk about it here. We both individually recorded our own stuff about it. So
you weren't supposed to do this yet. It was my next topic. And Tobran's head's already so big it barely fits on the frickin' screen. See, Tobran was supposed to be our diva for this evening. He was going to be our special guest, and then Omeed wanted to show up. Kind of threw off the whole.
You didn't get him his trailer. He can't be a diva.
Yeah. Sorry. So, Tobran, tell us about your trip. Because we'll go back to Q&A in just a second, but...
Okay, so the trip was amazing. I'm just going to do this as fast as I can. So basically, I arrived there. I set myself in. Don't see anyone I recognize because Nero isn't there yet. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go sit off in the corner and just wait till someone arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And then within like 5 minutes, Diggs comes up and says, oh, hey, you're Tobran, right? And I'm like, yes, who the hell are you? I don't know who you are. And he's like, oh, I'm Diggs. I'm like, holy shit, okay, I talk to you all the time. And then as time went on, more and more people came up and like started talking and saying, oh, hey, you're that guy. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but as soon as it said screen name, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, everyone's just saying like they love the show and stuff. And if anyone's watching, hello. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and huge shout out to Emily, also known as Pentapod, for driving me around like pretty much the whole of San Diego on Saturday. That was freaking awesome.
That was really cool.
It was amazing. We saw seals.
Yeah.
All right, Reese, what about you?
It was pretty fun for me. I came out the night before and then headed out in the morning. When they said to get there early, they meant it, because they had you had to sign up and sign the NDA stuff, and then you get a wristband and the Prime Grappler code. So when I finally got there, I was in Group H, and I think it only went to like Group J or K by the end. And these groups were so that way you'd have the time for the demo and the time for the tour, because they had the scheduled ones of those. So that was a lot of fun. I brought some cornbread for the dev team. They enjoyed it. Dave didn't even get a chance to try any, so I'll have to figure out some for him sometime. It was a lot of fun, though. Won some stuff. Won a whole big old bag of loot. Another Nagy hat. Notebook. License plate thing.
I can't use them. I've got 2 of them, and I can't use them.
Oh, I should have taken one, because you need 2 of them in California to be awesome.
Yes,
this is the little.
But their license plates are this long.
Well, I've got mine of that. Cheat sheet.
Yeah, this is the cheat sheet for the demo stations, and since we won a little extra special tour, we were able to snag some. Here's my photo at the photo booth.
It's very shiny.
It looks just like you.
There we go.
Let's see, it's not SOE. Free Realms cards, 50 SC inside. Evercrack DVD.
I got my mom to watch that. Like, achievement unlocked, guys. I got my mom to watch the full thing. Like,
this is
wow.
What the Prime Grappler codes came on. It's a little code down there. That code's already been redeemed.
Oh, damn, I was just about ready to write it down.
EverQuest map, DCUO box. You can't buy the game in a box anymore, but there's got 500 SC in it, and it'll go next to my Vanguard box. And Ratonga Race pen. It's kind of hard to see, but it's got a couple little marbles, and you're trying to get them from one end to the other.
I bet Omeed hates those, doesn't he?
Those are Ratonga balls, and they got him into a pen. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my wrap up of it, and then the day after was pretty awesome. If you're ever in the San Diego area visiting SOE offices, the Opera Patisserie restaurant is definitely the place to go. They have the first real legit croque-monsieur I've had. The one I had at SOE Live from the Earl Sandwiches was bullshit in comparison.
All right, back to the questions real quick. I'm just looking to see if there's... oh, the patch notes are up. Thank you so much, because all day long I was waiting to do my news one for today, and there was none. So thank you so much. I'll check out those patch notes. Thank you. Is Tobran and Trending going to let their beards grow?
Middle fingers are raising up slow beneath the camera right now.
He can't handle it. He just can't handle the beard. The lusciousness. I can't hear you, Locke. Have you been talking for a while?
You're on mute.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I'm mute. Yeah, my dog's in the room.
Oh.
He's an asshole. I do remember Tobran saying very distinctly that he wasn't going to shave until... When was it, Tobran? SOE Live?
You're going to keep it going till SOE Live?
I have all right to trim it, though.
At our first meeting together, I demand a cuddle and
we want to stroke each other's beards, yes. You want to tie them together into a braided beard knot.
Just chin to chin.
Yeah.
Chin to chin, love. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Frog.
Come on, Tobran. It'll be my wedding present.
I'm actually
together.
I might not be able to go to PAX. They declined my PAX press invitation, bastards.
Oh well.
So I might be going to SOE Live, but I have to drive. So that's a drive for me from New York to Las Vegas. Yeah, it's a hump.
That is a hell of a drive, but I will say this. One luxury with driving is that you can park anywhere because there is no limitation on parking. Casinos want you to park there, so parking's not an issue. And the other, you can bring and take home as much as you want. So if you win one of those giant like banners or something awesome,
a giant
like
Omeed
that,
statue. I'm bringing my minivan, so I'll put it in the back of my minivan.
Yeah, so you'll actually have room to be able to bring all sorts of cool stuff and drunk people home with you.
Yep.
Come on, Demo, you got to come because we have to do Into the Portal live from SOE Live.
Question: do you guys go full neckbeard? What is neckbeard means that the beard only grows like underneath the chin. As you can see, I have hair above the edge of my chin, and so does.
See what it is. What it is. It's a collusion of ideas where it's like, oh, they do a podcast about computer games on the internet, and oh, they have beards, so it just kind of like comes together like this.
To say that we're neckbeards, I think of it neckbeard as being an insult. I probably shouldn't have said that because now everyone's going to call me neckbeard.
Well, neckbeard isn't.
I'm sure that they mean it as an insult.
They just, it makes them look ignorant because the neckbeard is, if all of this was all trimmed off and that it was just everything below the jawline.
Way below the jawline.
That's a neckbeard, and they do look terrible. They look atrocious.
Yes.
Rock one of those with a mullet if you want to look like a real piece of shit.
Yeah,
like it's just. Horrible.
I hit a nerve with Reese there.
See, I don't think that's actually what the neckbeard thing is.
Okay, what is it, Trenday? Let's hear
what I think, if I remember correctly, what it is that you've got, your facial hair doesn't actually stop; it just grows all the way down into your chest. It's just, you're just growing
I've
hair
got like
all
one
the way
chest
down.
hair. I just took it off.
No,
it just makes you look
got a gap there.
Primitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it means you're primitive because you're so primitive and stupid and hairy Neanderthal bastard.
I see.
Is what I interpret neckbeard to be. Go ahead.
I don't have a neck up. Well, I just have head and shirt and nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
And I love that shirt. I
thought it meant just that particular type of nerd on the internet.
It's
That's always like actually the type of person that's like, I think we should have a hardcore throwback server for EverQuest Next.
PvP.
That type of person.
Yeah, we should.
We
should, guys. Come on.
Permadeath hardcore.
That's what I thought it meant. I'm sure they do mean it as an insult.
Yeah, probably.
I'm incredibly insulted and offended.
You go tell somebody on the Reddit there, Lock.
That they would dare imply that you have a neck.
It's just them showing their ignorance on the subject.
Just,
all right, well, I guess that wraps it up for tonight. Do I trigger?
I'm going to go and cry myself to sleep that someone on the internet tried to make fun of.
No, they didn't make fun of us.
Oh god, bunch of losers. Sorry.
Lock, are you going to go to SOE Live there, Trendane? Because that would be great. It's only Vegas. It's not too far from you, right? It's only about 8 hours.
It's only Vegas.
It's only like 8 hours. I'm driving.
That you said that.
I'm just saying. I'm driving like 32 hours to get there. You can go. You can drive 8.
With what car?
All right, I guess I'll go drive all the way to California and pick you up, and then I'll come back.
No, it would be much easier. Given how much I love to drive, it would be much easier for me to just fly out to you, and then I will help you drive down there. Actually, I will drive down there because I love driving.
Oh, do you?
And
okay.
We'll
drive the minivan
all the way down there.
All right.
And then you can drive back, and I'll just hitchhike home.
Well, I don't know about that. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, Omeed, for being here. Thanks, Pentapod, for being here, and Felgon, and Dexella, and who else was in it? There was somebody else who was in the audience too.
There were like 300 people.
Well, no, I'm talking about the devs.
Oh, the important people.
No, these are all important people. I love all you guys. And before you go, make sure you hit the follow button for this channel. We're trying to get 1 million followers. We're getting closer.
That's right. It's right down here.
Tyroline says new name for the podcast: Into the Carpool. Sounds very good, right? People without beards are less grassy to kiss.
But I use enough conditioner that it's not rough.
I got this lemon scented oil that goes in my beard, and it's just soft. It's like.
Do I have all this to look forward to?
Yes, you must grow the beard out there.
Oh god.
Tobran. If you get the lemon scented oil, beard oil, it will make your beard softer, and you won't be like itching it all the time.
It's already like fucking bum fluff. I don't need to be softer.
It is not bum fluff yet. You gotta let it get out, and then get wiry bum fluff.
Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next week with more vapidity, and maybe we'll see if one of the ladies can come on. That'd be great if Dexel or Pentapod, who are still watching, could come on the show next week. That'd be awesome. But we'll see. Okay, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Toodles.
Final wrap up?
See ya. What's that?
We do the final wrap up with everyone,
Oh,
or are
we
we just
didn't.
calling it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We're still live, so I guess we could. All right, quickly. Around the room, tell us. Lock, go. You're muted, Lock.
Hello, I've got a YouTube channel.
Gate, next.
YouTube/Good Times.
No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
People are going to go to /goodtimes now and they're not going to find
Go
you.
ahead, Lock. I'm screwing around with you. Go ahead.
I'm LockSixTime everywhere. I've got a show where I talk about EverQuest Next and another one called Party Like It's 1999, which is a kind of how to play EverQuest thing. It was described as horrifying by Mr. Omeed Dariani, our special guest tonight. And I do other stuff. I write a column for a website called Zam.com, which is pretty cool. There's a new one coming up tomorrow, which is sort of my first impressions of Landmark and stuff, so you might want to check that out.
All right. Legendary, go.
I do this.
I am Legendary Neurotoxin. You can find me here on Twitch as Legendary Neurotoxin. I've been doing some live streaming of Landmark, as well as every 5 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays of the week. I do the live feature rant. I've already done one last week and one this week. So you can catch up on those either on my Twitch channel or you can find them on my website, legendaryneurotoxin.blogspot.com.
Great. Tobran, go.
I have a YouTube channel called Tobran Ernwood. I have a Twitch channel called Tobran Ernwood. I do a weekly show called EQN Talk where I wrap up all the weekly news. I'm co-host on Project 1999. I do this show. I do something for Evercast every week. What am I missing? Something I missed. I don't know. Going live after this. Go watch my Twitch channel.
Awesome. Thank you, Tobran. Go, Mr. Trendane.
It's everywhere.
Trendane everywhere. Perfect. Me, Geekdomo, everywhere. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let's get out of here. Good night. See ya.
Bye-bye.